All right, let's talk about Allen Robinson, the new wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was, given a big contract just a year ago by the Rams, but, did not work out too well. He was coming off a bad year in Chicago. The Rams thought they were buying low. Turns out they weren't, because he ended up having an equally bad year with them. But the Steelers are kind of saying, you know what? He's still young enough. Maybe there's still some gas left in the tank here, and it was just a couple of bad years. Again, the guy isn't that old. He's only 29 years old. So it would be very odd if he fell off a cliff that quickly, which again, it happens. It has happened where guys fall off a cliff randomly when they're still in their 20s, but it is an unusual thing that I wouldn't necessarily bet on happening. So for Pittsburgh, what could he potentially bring to them? Because again, they basically gave up nothing. I mean, it was a 7th round swap was the compensation. So it's really just the contract is what they're giving up. They're giving up having to pay Robinson. Well, let's watch the tape and let's see what was he able to do effectively at the NFL level. And we'll start off with this play. So what you see on the screen, it's man coverage that Robinson is going up against, one-on-one matchup. And so let's see what happens. Right off the bat, you're going to see that Robinson does kind of get past the defensive back who is covering him. And this is something I do wonder with Robinson is he's such a good contested catch guy. He doesn't get a ton of separation. That's never really been his game. Part of me does wonder if, part of the appeal of Allen Robinson was that he was always able to have success even in bad situations. Even when it was Mitchell Trubisky throwing to him or Blake Bortles throwing to him, he was still always able to have success and get his yards. But I wonder if those kind of quarterbacks maybe were good at just getting him the football, throwing the ball in his way, and maybe guys like Justin Fields and now Matt Stafford don't really love to do that. Because watch as on this play, Robinson never really gets the separation. Eventually, Stafford throws it his way, but he threw it out of bounds right there. I wonder if some other quarterbacks maybe would have given him a chance, and I wonder if you'll see Kenny Pickett kind of do that, and he'll give Robinson more of a chance there, because the Pittsburgh Steelers do love their contested catch receivers, and we'll see if he can do that. It's just interesting. And like going over here, I thought that there were some plays where he kind of, at times flashed, still having some good footwork and things of that nature, although this play isn't going to really fully work out. But what's going to happen here is it's a one-on-one matchup. You see where he is on the field, and watch how he's going to make a pretty good move here. He's going to be able to get the catch, although he did not get the first down on that play. They needed to get to the 25-yard line for the first, and that was on 3rd down. So, would have been nice to get all the way to the first down. I do wonder if he was, supposed to go a little bit further on the route or something like that. But again, I'm just evaluating the player and really the talent, and you did see some good footwork on that play, which maybe makes me hope that perhaps he isn't washed up, and perhaps it is really just a fit thing more than anything. Because again, something like this is a jump ball scenario. That's what this play is. It's a contested catch, one-on-one matchup, sort of the fade route in the end zone. Let's see if my receiver can beat your receiver. Right when this play begins, you see that that's what's happening. Stafford throws one up, the ball's going in that direction, and, again, it's a position where typically, I think Allen Robinson of years past, you'd be already celebrating if you're, if you placed a bet on the Rams in this scenario, you'd be saying this looks like a great spot. However, this time the ball is going to be broken up. You could argue it was a bit underthrown, but again, if it was a bit higher, then maybe it's Robinson can't make the catch and get his feet in bounds right there. So these are the types of plays I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are hoping that Robinson can hit on, and maybe it's a chemistry thing with the quarterback, and that's all it is. It's hard to say exactly, but again, these are types of things you're hoping that he hits on. And I want to be clear, it's not like he never hit on these in LA or in his last year in Chicago. He still did show some flashes. Like going over here, it's going to be essentially the same thing, where it's a one-on-one matchup in the end zone situation. And to be honest, if all he can be is just a good red zone target, there still is value in that. Now, is he going to be worth his current contract? That's another question, but there definitely is value in that. So, for Robinson, it's a one-on-one matchup, and watch what happens. I mean, look at the line. Corner tried to press and was not able to do so. Robinson goes up and makes the catch. I mean, that's a really good play from Robinson, made for an easy throw and touchdown on that one. And those are the kind of things you hope he brings to the table. And again, it's worth mentioning for Pittsburgh, because I brought up that they are taking on some money, but they're not taking on a ton. I mean, the Rams are pretty much getting out of this contract and paying most of the contract. Just they're trying to get Pittsburgh to pay some of it. I mean, for Robinson, his cap hit's only $3 million this year, and while it does bump up to $12 million in 2024, the last year of his deal, only $2 million of that is guaranteed. So it's really a one-year flyer for Robinson. So that's definitely an important note to bring up, as well as they are not paying a ton for Robinson. Yes, technically they're giving him $15 million over 2 years, but for their perspective, only $5 million of that is actually guaranteed, which makes the contract a lot nicer for them. And to be honest, with a guy who's been in the league for a while, if all he can do is just sort of help out some of their young receivers, like a George Pickens, who kind of plays a very similar role, if all he does is be a mentor, that's kind of worth $5 million right there with a young team, and maybe just being a veteran presence for Kenny Pickett as well. That stuff could help. But again, one last play. It's a quick one. It's not something I'm going to spend forever on, but it just didn't look right with the Rams. I think that they were never on the same page. This is a good example. It's supposed to be a one-on-one matchup on the outside right here. As you see, Stafford takes the snap. He thinks it's a go route. He's going to throw a go route, but Robinson does not, which results in that ball just going incomplete right there. So I saw a little bit of that as well. It never looked right with the Rams. That's just the reality of the situation. And it didn't look right the last year with the Bears, which is what's so confusing about it, because like I said, for Allen Robinson, he is one of those guys that seemingly, yes, those you could argue were bad situations of, the Rams, especially, with their injuries that they had. Although I wouldn't say that was a bad situation for all of when he was there or anything like that. But the Bears, his last year, that definitely was a tough situation, but you could argue it's a bad fit. But like I said, he is someone who has had success with several different quarterbacks. It's not like he's only been good, playing for a single quarterback before in good situations, and then when he goes somewhere else, he struggles. Then you can kind of understand it a bit more. But kind of his thing was he was known for being almost quarterback-proof, which almost makes it more concerning that he's now struggled a bit in back-to-back years. Like, if you look at his Pro Football Focus grades year in and year out, you definitely see there is a drop-off these past couple of years. Now, I will say this too, PFF does not have him as a disastrous player each of the past 2 years. A guy who can get you a 65 grade, I don't know, there's a little bit of value in that. That's probably worth the $3 million you'll be paying him this year if he is just that guy. And again, especially with the veteran stuff and all of that. But obviously, the hope is that he could regain kind of that, 2020 through 2018 stuff in Chicago, and then also his first, 3 year, really that second year in Jacksonville, according to PFF. That was the main year that he had success in. So I think the hope is that he can come back and be that player again. It's simply just a flyer, nothing more, but a very interesting one. And given the little amount of money they're paying him, it feels like a pretty worthy flyer, I would say, to just, let's see what happens. Getting a 29-year-old who many people feel is washed up is not a terrible idea in the slightest. At least that's kind of how I view it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Allen Robinson? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.